Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you some examples of strumming patterns that are frequently used in punk rock guitar playing. I made a similar video a few years back called something like 12 common punk rock strumming patterns. In that original video I just made up 12 examples, so I just came up with 12 guitar riffs to demonstrate the strumming patterns. But what I want to do in this video is show you some examples from actual punk rock songs. So I was hoping it would be helpful to see real examples taken from awesome punk rock songs of how strumming patterns are utilized. I really love learning how to play different strumming patterns, and when I'm tabbing songs out, I try really hard to figure out exactly what the strumming and rhythm is and show that on the guitar tab, because I think it's so much fun to play along to songs when they have the interesting, complex strumming patterns. I think a great example would be early Green Day, like Insomniac and Dookie, because in a lot of ways those songs are pretty simple. Like there might only be 3 or 4 different power chords being used, but then there's so much variation on the strumming and rhythm. Like the strumming patterns could be pretty complex on those early Green Day songs. So it's really fun to play along to, and when you can nail the strumming pattern, it's just very satisfying. So those are the type of songs I'm going to be showing you in this video, songs that have interesting, complex strumming patterns. Before we get started, I wanted to talk really quickly about how I visualize strumming patterns in my head. So I generally think in terms of 4 beats or 8 beats or 16 beats. And then it's like, okay, are you going to play on all 4 beats? If you play on all 4 beats, it would sound like this. Or if you play on all 8 beats, it would be... And when I'm talking about the beats, it doesn't matter how fast or slow you're playing it. Like, you could play the same 8 beats really fast. But the important thing is, are you going to play on every beat? Because, let's say we take a rest on the second beat and we don't play the second beat. That would sound like... So I'm playing the first beat, taking a rest on the second beat, and then I'm playing beats 3 through 8. So this is used all the time in punk rock music, especially bands like the Ramones and the Misfits use this strumming pattern all the time. And actually the first example I'm going to show you is Blitzkrieg Bop by the Ramones, and they use that exact strumming pattern right there. But then you can get more complex from there. Like, let's say you take a pause and don't play the second beat and the 5th beat. That would sound like... So I'm playing the first beat, taking a pause on the second beat. I'm playing the 3rd and 4th beats, taking a pause on the 5th beat, and then I'm playing the 6th, 7th, and 8th beats. And this is also used all the time in punk rock guitar. And I'll have examples later in the video that shows you songs that use this strumming pattern. So in this video I tried to organize it where the riff started out a little bit easier and then got a little more complex as the video goes on. I'll also talk later in the video about some of the different techniques like palm muting and raking. But yeah, I say we go ahead and get started. In this next example, I'll be sliding up from the A power chord to the B power chord, which on my guitar tab you'll see a forward slash, and that's just saying to slide up. So You'll also see a backslash sometimes on my guitar tabs, and that just means to slide down. So we could also slide down from the B power chord to the A power chord. Yep, so let's give that a try on this next example. In this next example, you're going to see a rest symbol, which in my guitar tabs kind of looks like a lightning bolt. I can put up on the screen what the actual musical rest symbol looks like, because it looks a little different than what I use. But basically, when you see the rest symbol, that means you're not going to let the note ring out at all. So if you saw like a long line after a note, that would mean you're going to let it ring out. So it would sound like this. But if you see the rest symbol after the note, you will quickly deaden the strings after you play it, and don't let it ring out at all. So what I'm doing is I'm bringing my hand down and quickly deadening the strings. And this is used a lot. I feel like it's used a lot when you're like transitioning from maybe a bridge into the verse, something like that. They'll play that, that quick like staccato, and then rest, and then move on. And I would say it's always played on odd beats, if that makes sense, like the 5th beat or the 7th beat or the 9th beat, because it's kind of like you play the 8 beats, and then on the 9th beat you kind of do a staccato and pause. So here, let me show you the example here. So I played 8 beats, and in that 9th beat I do it a little more forceful and then quickly deaden the strings. And then like on this next example I'm going to show you, it's going to be on the 7th beat. So you'll play 6 beats, and then that 7th is where you'll do that staccato. Anyways, I hope that makes sense. So let's go ahead and move on to the next example. In this next example, I'm going to use a technique called raking, which on my guitar tabs is denoted with X's. So to rake, you're going to lightly put your fingers across all of the strings, and you're not going to press down hard at all. You're basically just going to rest your fingers on top of the strings to deaden them a little bit. And then you're going to strum, and it should sound something like this. So the thing I find challenging about raking is trying to get a consistent sound, because it kind of seems like every time I rake, it comes out sounding a little bit different. So yeah, I find this to be a little bit of a difficult technique to use, so I'll try to make this next example sound as good as I can. In the remaining examples, I'm going to be using palm muting, so you can tell on my guitar tabs if you need to palm mute, because there will be a little dot above the note. So to palm mute, you're going to use the palm of your hand, this area right here, and you're going to rest it basically right on top of and a little bit in front of the bridge. And you don't need to press down very hard, but you need to add a little bit of pressure, and then you'll play it, and it should give you a nice, beautiful, crunchy sound. So I absolutely love palm muting. It's like my favorite thing to do on guitar, and it's used constantly in punk rock. And there's so many really cool little variations that are used in different strumming patterns that utilize palm muting. Like this might be my all-time favorite. Or a little variation on that. Another really common one would be for a band to... They'll play the first note unpalm muted, they'll take a pause, and then they'll play the next 6 notes palm muted, which sounds like... So yeah, it's used all the time. I'll go over some fun ways it's used in the coming examples. If you're still watching, thank you so much. I know this has been a very long video. It was a lot of fun to make, and I hope it was helpful. As always, if you have any requests, I'd love to hear down in the comments. Like if you have any songs you want me to tab out or ideas for future guitar lessons, just let me know and I'll give it a shot. You can also check out my website, punkrockguitartabs.com, where I have a whole bunch of other fun to play punk rock songs. I'll also put down in the description a link to full guitar tabs for all the songs I went over in this video. So yeah, check those out, and it's been a tremendous amount of fun. I hope you all have a fantastic night. Bye.